okay? And we started doing this a couple of years ago because I had people come in the office and I never say no, and they're like, can you help me this, or advice on this, anything that has to do with real estate. And I was setting up appointments all day with them to meet. And then it turned out I was doing more appointments, giving people advice, teaching, helping, things like that, than doing business. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna tell everybody just come on Thursday in the evening after I finish working, like at 6:30, and we can answer any questions. And that's how it started. At our other location that we were at, we had a smaller room than this, and we'd have like 30, 40 people started showing up, you know, and I would just literally answer questions. And then what we started doing is having different topics, right? So that's what we do now. We meet once a month. We'll pick a different topic, and every time you come, it's gonna be something different, but it has to do with real estate. And then the last, like 15, 20 minutes, we'll let you ask any questions you want. So you can ask anything you want that has to do with real estate, and we will answer those questions. If I can't answer it, don't know it, well, you already know Morris knows everything. So we can ask Morris, and he'll let us know at the end. But no, seriously, we like to have fun. We like to help people. The more you give, the more you get. It's all about giving more. That's what we do. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna share some information with you on what we're doing. So have anybody seen what the rates we're doing lately, right? Now they started to go down a little bit, but they're up still. They're up a lot higher than what people like. So people are worried about the rates, and some people have stopped doing what? Buying, right? So do you think that we stopped buying?
No.
No. When do you think is the right time to buy? Yesterday, and always, both perfect answers, right? You ever pass by a piece of property that you looked at like 5 years ago, and man, I knew I should have bought that piece of property?
Yes.
That happens all the time. You never want to stop buying. How many of y'all do like investments in the stock market or do any type of investment like that? Okay, what do they say? Take it in now every time things change?
No.
No, it's all about the long run, 10-year span, it always grows, right? So why would you, and dollar cost averaging, right? Dollar cost averaging, I heard about that, right? So it's the same thing in real estate. By the time you find out when the best time was, you're gonna be like, yeah, last year was the best year to buy.
Yeah.
That's when you're gonna find out. You're not gonna find out while it's happening, so you never know when the bottom is. So that's why we buy and buy and buy. We actually do the opposite of what everybody else does. When rates start going up from, 3 to 3.5 to 4, everybody's still buying, but 4.5, 5, what happened? People started getting worried, and they're like, if y'all remember, those of you that are in real estate, when it hit 5, it was like, things stopped.
Yeah.
It was like, no, rates are gonna go back down. Don't buy right now, because they went up a lot, from 2 and something all the way to 5. What do you think we were doing? Buying. It went to 5.5. It went to 6. People really got worried. 6? That's ridiculous. That's like double, right? It was at 2 something to 6. 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8. I closed a couple of houses at 8.8, and I was still buying. Okay. Now they went down a little bit. The last 2 I bought, I closed 5 houses yesterday. I bought 5 houses yesterday in one day, 6.9.
Book.
So, I had my son do these slides for me. So, so he likes throwing in some stuff in there for me. So, what is this? Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? As the market changed, we continued to buy, but we had to change some of the things we're doing. It's always a good time to buy, but it might be different times, right? Like when rates were low, it was a good time to buy, but it was also a good time to sell, because home prices were going straight up, right? So we were buying and selling. That's when we started doing fix and flips. Anybody here has done a fix and flip before? Great, a couple of people. So I think it was 2022, we did our first fix and flip that year. I did new construction and all that, but I didn't really like fix and flips. So we did our first year, 77 fix and flips. So when we do something, we don't just do a little bit. We're like, okay, if this works, then just multiply it, right? So this last year we did like 80. So we didn't just buy the houses and sell them because we could have. And I want to share as much stuff that I share exactly what we're doing. So if you like it or you think it fits for you, you can do it. We do a lot of different things. But a lot of people buy them, fix them, and sold them, like just straight, right? Because it's a good time to make money. We were averaging about 80 to 100,000 per home as a profit. Boom, 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 okay? But we were selling them a little differently than what everybody else sells them. We were selling them with something called owner financing. Anybody heard of that? Owner financing? Okay, so we imagine when you're buying homes at 4% interest and selling them at 10% interest with an additional 100,000 added to the price that you just bought it for. You think you can make a little money doing that? That's what I've learned along the journey. Because we've been doing everything for over 20 years real estate, from the stand that you put when you're gonna build a house. We own 2 sand pits, a 68-acre one and a 100-acre one in Pearland on Dixie Farm Road. And all the way from building 20 homes at a time, 3 different subdivisions, commercial, design to build my own hotel. The bank said they want to lend us. They said, you ever build a hotel before? I'm like, no. But we never take no for an answer. I was like, okay, cool. So we just built the cash. You know, we're still gonna get done what we want to get done. And that's why you're here, because you're like us. We're all like-minded people, right? We don't just accept what other people tell us we're supposed to be doing, right? We know that there's something better and we're there to go after it, right? So I share with you that because we did all the different things, but I found out along the way, so you don't have to go through everything I did, right? Because my first house I built, I lost like $30-something thousand on my first house. Okay, why? Because I never built a house before. Did I care? No, I just built the next house. I figured I'd make money on the next one, but I lost on the next one too. A little less though. Did I quit? Did I say this doesn't work? No, but why do so many people quit when they do something that doesn't work? The first time, the second time, the third time. We don't quit. We just learn and we keep going. We don't lose, we learn, right? So I don't want you to have to lose to learn. That's why you can come here. We'll show you all the things we did wrong, right? So you don't do them, then we'll show you what did work. So what we learned along the way was that being the bank was the easiest job, right? So you don't have to do nothing. So we wanted to be the bank, but we didn't want to just make money on the spread of the interest, but we wanted to make money on the house too. Now, when a lot of people are buying the homes and selling them, making $80,000 or $100,000 on a home, guess what they were doing? They were paying taxes. So they made $100,000, they were probably paying like $30,000, $35,000, $40,000 in taxes. Why would you want to make $100,000 to give away $40,000? They only got 60. That doesn't sound like a good game, right? Well, all the houses we sold that first year, 77, we sold them all owner finance, made $80,000 to $100,000 on each one, and guess how much taxes we paid? Zero taxes, right? Because if you don't touch the money and you know what you're doing, you don't have to pay taxes on it. We didn't get that money, right? We did what's called installment loan, installment payments. So you talk to your CPA, tell them you want to do installment payments, and then they'll tell you, I'm not a CPA, okay, I'm just showing you the things I did, right? So then you don't have to pay that lump sum. You can pay a little taxes, right, on the little bit you're getting every month. But if you were supposed to pay $30,000, would you rather pay $30,000 today, or would you rather pay $1,000 a year for 30 years? See what I'm saying? I'd rather pay $1,000 a year. Divide that by 12. That's how little taxes you're paying, right? As an example. So that's why we do owner financing. And if you have never tried it before or done it, I'm telling you, that's a good thing to do. Now, as things continue to change and the rates went from 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, it wasn't you can't make as much as you could, right, when it was 4, but it's still good, and we're going to show you how we're doing it. But now, it's a time to think. The news is not really telling you what's happening, okay? The news is like, it's the best time to buy, everything's perfect, we're in the best economy, it's the strongest, nothing's going on, nothing's wrong, everything's perfect, right? How many of you think everything's perfect right now? Right? They're like, everything's perfect, Mark. Everything's perfect for you. So, how do we know that? Because we have a lot of homes, right, that are financed. I would say probably over 300. A large amount of them started to be late before they weren't. And then a larger amount started to not pay and have to go into foreclosure. So just off of our experience of what we're doing, we're seeing that it's climbing and climbing as people are unable to pay their mortgage payments on their homes. Okay, so when we start seeing this, you got to start thinking that you have to kind of start changing some of the things you're doing, right? So that's why we came up with what we're doing right now to diversify. Anybody heard of Section 8? We're gonna talk a little bit about that. So why do you think that we might be interested in starting to look at Section 8? Because I didn't like rentals, by the way. I don't have any rentals. Well, I didn't have any rentals, maybe commercial, but not regular rentals. Exactly. Who's guaranteeing that money? The federal government, right? They're gonna pay no matter what. What do you think happened during COVID when they said you can't evict your people for not paying, and they don't even have to pay? Section 8 paid. They paid every time. And that's why we started looking into the program more. It's not called Section 8, by the way, anymore. It's called the voucher program. But it's the same concept, right? So as everybody else is making less money, less rents, things are happening in the economy, Section 8 raised the rents 15% this year, right? Well, the end of last year, right, for this year, 50%. That's pretty good, right? So things are going up. If you're in the program, you're getting guaranteed money every month, no matter what, and it goes up every year. You can keep asking for it to go up. You request an increase. Also, the other reason we looked at Section 8, besides your guaranteed payment, is because the bad thing about rental properties is that usually every year or two they move. In Section 8 and in the voucher program, on average, they stay 8 years.
Wow.
And sometimes the only reason they leave is because they die or get incarcerated or something like that. So, but seriously, they're not gonna leave. They're never gonna leave. You know why they're not gonna leave? They're not gonna leave because they were on a waiting list that there's over 1,000 people on the waiting list right now. Some people wait 5, 6, 7, 8 years before they get approved for the voucher. And they're in that waiting list. Right now, there's over 1,000 people waiting. They open it up once a year for you to be able to get on the list. And this year when it opened, in less than a week, it shut down already because it was already maxed out. So there's a huge demand, for housing. So that's why we did a lot of research and we're really interested in doing this. Another reason is because we believe, and we could be wrong, right? Everybody could be wrong sometimes, but all we do is win. So, how many of you think that rates are gonna go down within the next 18 to 24 months? Raise your hand. Okay, no one really knows what's gonna happen, but I believe that rates are gonna go down. I don't know when. They're not gonna say at 8, right? They've already kind of started going down. They announced that there's gonna be at least 3 rate drops before the end of the year and like 6 next year. So I think that the rates are gonna drop within the next 12 to 24 months or so. So knowing that, I'm buying everything I can buy right now, okay? Because if you buy them and put them on the Section 8 program, the appreciation that is gonna happen when the rates drop, I believe is gonna be the same thing that happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when the rates dropped all the way down. What happened? Prices went crazy. Did they appreciate by the normal, like 6% or 8? No, it's like 15, 20% in our areas, right? Some houses we had went up more than 20% a year, depending where you're buying them. So because of that is another reason why we want to get into the Section 8, that you can purchase the homes, guaranteed money, and a year and a half, 2 years from now, or whenever the rates go down, we don't care. It might take 3 years, It might happen in a year and a half. Then you can turn around and get the appreciation plus the cash flow that you have in the home. You don't even have to sell the homes. A lot of people like to sell stuff. I would just pull the cash out refi, pull your money out, keep getting your cash flow. But guess what's gonna happen when you do that? The example we're gonna show you, the rate, let's say, I bought some at 8% already. When that rate drops down to 5, which I know it will, it's gonna hit 5. When it hits 5 and the appreciation goes up, then I can do a cash out refi. My payment, instead of going up because I pulled more money out, is gonna go down. Even though I pull more money out, it's gonna go down because the rate went down so far that I just got that money for free. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just kind of sharing with you the things that we're doing. We're not going 100%. We didn't stop doing owner financing. We're doing owner financing, but we're gonna do, Section 8 rentals also. The goal is to buy 100 this year, of each, 100 owner finance, 100, Section 8 to offset it. So, I'm gonna share with you an example real quick, because I want y'all to kind of visualize what I'm talking about. And it's a lot of numbers and it's hard to explain without slides. I usually never use slides, by the way. But I know we had to use slides because this is good information and you can take pictures of it if you want, but it's gonna kind of give you an idea. So also, one thing that I like to do when I try to share information, you know, and kind of pay it forward, is talk about things that I'm doing, not things I read in a book or thought that might work one day. And I also like to talk about real life examples as they're happening. I don't want to talk about a property I sold last year or 2 years ago that I made $50,000 on. I want to talk about a property that I bought yesterday. So I bought 5, this was one of them that I bought yesterday. That's the real address. I'll show you the HUD here in a minute. But this is a property 3302, and we bought this home for $175,000. Now, the house is probably ARV'd at $250. But why would you want to pay full price for a house, right? So we got this house for $175,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And what I want to share with you is the tiers, A1, A2, B, C, D. If you're not familiar with that, the voucher program, they pay you based on what zip code your home is in. Okay? So A1 is going to be the highest pay that they pay, right? So of course we're buying an A1 and A2 area.
Is that a fixed fee? I mean, if it's an A1, you could get $3,300.
They go up every year, so this is the old one from last year, so I might have just went up again, because I think it went up 15%.
It has nothing to do with the price of the house.
The beautiful thing is, this house could be ugly, this house could be beautiful, this house could be 1,500 square feet, this house could be 3,000 square feet, all they care about is bedrooms. So, this is a 3-bedroom. If you pull the chart up on the website, if it's a 4-bedroom, it's like $4,000 something. If it's a 2-bedroom, it's less, 1-bedroom. So all they care about is bedrooms. The bathrooms don't even matter either. So you can have a 5-bedroom that they're paying like $4,000, almost $5,000 for it with 1 bathroom. They don't care about bathrooms. They don't care about garages. They just care about bedrooms, right?
But only certain zip codes qualify, right?
It has to be in the zip code. And the square footage doesn't matter. That's why if you're buying a home for the voucher program specifically, buy the lowest square footage because they're gonna pay the same exact thing. It could be a 3-bedroom, 1,500, and they'll give you what they're gonna say right there. If it's a 3-bedroom, 3,000 square foot, they're still gonna give you that. They don't care, right? It's based on the bedrooms, okay? So that's how you can make money. You know the rules, you know exactly what they're paying for. So, in this example, this property is an actual A1 property. Okay, it's an A1 property. We get a loan for it because you never want to use your own money, right? You always want to leverage whatever you have because that's how you get the highest returns. If you paid cash for this property, you wouldn't be getting the returns that we're talking about. I try to teach this to people, but they don't understand. They want to have everything paid off. That's a whole other training. Don't pay off anything. Don't pay off your house. Let somebody else do it. So here in this example, we actually did get a loan. These are real numbers. So we got a loan for 80%, and that was actually it wasn't even supposed to be 144. They messed up and gave me a little bit extra, but I didn't say nothing. And they did give me that money yesterday. So they lent 144,000 on it, and that's the real rate. I got it at 6.9% interest on a 30-year loan. This is not any kind of crazy. The rate goes up, 3 years and balloons, and this is a full 30-year loan, and that is what the rate's gonna be the whole time. Our payment's gonna be $957.87. That's what our payment is. The 20% down had to be put down, I always estimate about 5%. So that's the actual amount that we had to pay at closing. So we paid $56,147. Now, I started partnering with people in my group, that want to get into these deals. Maybe they're too busy to find the deals. Maybe they still work a full-time job. They're waiting to do about 2 or 3 of these so they don't have to, right? And so we find the deals. We literally do everything, and the investor puts in $50,000. Now, in this case, I had to put more than that, $56,000, but the investor's still only going to put $50,000. For putting that $50,000, they get 50% of everything, the ownership, the equity, the cash flow, everything. So in this example, and I'll break it down, the investor's gonna be getting, almost $700 a month with a $50,000 investment, which is 16.23% return. We're gonna do a 3-year exit strategy, that more than likely it's gonna be 2 years, right? But I like to under-promise and over-deliver. So even if it took 3 years, our estimated profit, for the investors, 50,000, estimated total profit on the house would be 100,000, okay? Which I currently buy houses, rehab them, sell them, and make 80 to 100,000. So this is very conservative. There was already equity in the property, as you see what we bought it for. So making 100,000 on this house in 2 to 3 years is not an exaggeration. It's something that we're doing all the time. Because of that, if you add up the 3 years of your cash flow, the cash flow is 24,000, your $50,000 profit, you're at a return of investment of almost 150% return on your money in 3 years. So is that a pretty good return?
Yep.
That's about 50% return annually, 50% annual return. That's why we like doing these types of properties. If you click on it, we're gonna show you the HUD. That's the HUD. That's the actual property, and that's what I said we paid, right? 175,000. That's our loan amount. 144,000, and that is how much money we brought to closing. So like I said, we like to talk about deals that we're doing actively. We're actively doing these deals. Sometimes we don't make as much as we think we're gonna make on them. Sometimes we make more, but it's very rare we ever lose. I don't think we ever lost. And it's real hard to lose on these deals. Think about it. If you're buying a house for 175, it's worth 250. It's gonna be pretty hard to lose on these types of deals. But, you know, anything's possible. Nothing's guaranteed, right? But I wanted to share this example with you. Go to the next slide, Marcy, please.
Oh, so, no questions then?
So this is the breakdown, and then you can ask questions. I wanted to show the breakdown, because you might be like, where'd you get those numbers from? Okay, so take a picture of this. These are all real. This is a real deal we closed yesterday. Those are the real taxes, that's the real insurance, that's the real HOA. So we didn't make this up, this is not a maybe, this is gonna happen. The taxes were the 3,900 and some change, and we broke it all down there, so I'm not gonna go through every single category. I even threw in $100 for servicing company, if you use a servicing company, and then $100 just for estimated maintenance that we keep in reserves. I give the investor the option to do that if they're experienced, to not have to keep the reserve, and if something happens, we just split it, I pay it, and then they give me the half. I'm very flexible with the investors that I work with, on the deals. That's our total expenses, the 1647. If we rent this house for 3,000 on the voucher program, it could be a little more, it could be a little less, right? That part hasn't been done yet, we haven't rented it yet, we just listed it. I mean, we just closed on it, so we're barely gonna list it to put it in rent.
You could add it to their program at any time of the year, you don't have to wait until they open up.
Oh, yeah, you could put it immediately. I'm gonna list it tomorrow
Okay.
on their program.
Within their program.
Yeah, and then the way it works is, you can market it anywhere you want, and then when you get somebody that wants to rent it, that has the voucher, then you contact them and they'll do an inspection on the property. So they will go out and do an inspection that could take 2-3 weeks. That's the only bad part about it. But then once you got that done, then it's gonna be, you know, for good. And you can do a 5-year lease, you can do whatever you want to do when they're with them. So that's the cash flow. Once you subtract the 1647, it's 1352. And then the investor gets, like I said on the other slide we showed, the 676, almost $700. So that was how we came up with those numbers. That was the breakdown. Okay, questions now about this. We're not going to go up to other questions, but any questions about this? Yes, sir.
Yeah, for this program, I'm sure that you have to put the home into certain codes to qualify, or is it just any home, like you have the GSI or hood vents?
Yeah, they're gonna be very strict, like very strict. So they're gonna make sure everything is safe, you know, the fire detectors, every single plug, grounded. If it is not grounded, a little trick to it is if your house is not grounded and has a 3-prong, switch them all out with 2 prongs, then you have to do it. So, to send your guy in there. But the advantage is that we have 3 crews that have been working with us 7 years, 5 years. They only do work for us two crews like 100%. So as we're now focusing on doing these, I'm not doing like I said, I just started, I just got 2 this week. As we're doing them, I'm separating a crew just to do these. Once you go through the inspection, I mean, we have the checklist, but they're still gonna come up with other crazy stuff. If you have the same crew going over and over and over and doing the same thing house after house after house, then it just makes it easier. So I don't worry about it. I don't do any of the work myself. I don't believe in doing that. Your time is valuable. You don't wanna do any of this. You wanna just say, yes, I wanna do the deal, put your money and let it run, from there. So, we don't do any of the work ourselves, but that was a good question, cause they do ask for a bunch of stuff. But it's nothing unreasonable. It's just normal stuff. Yes,
So
sir.
I'm always interested in that part, the partnership with the investor. They actually don't own the house 50-50, right?
Yes, in these examples, we're gonna own the house 50-50, it's a joint venture. And since you said that, we do have, investors, partners that wanna do the deals with us that may have a retirement account, right? So if you have a retirement account, we work with a lot of people, like with Quest Trust Company, and they have retirement accounts, you can invest that money on these deals. And the big advantage of it, you're like, well, I can just do it by myself. Yeah, you can do it by yourself, but you would not make that, okay? Because when you have your retirement account, and by the way, any retirement account you have, Roth, 401k, anything can be self-directed, by the way. This is not the class for today, but if you need to have questions on that later, just come back. But you can self-direct, people don't even know, you can self-direct any retirement account. So we can show you how to do that, it's very cheap. And once you do that, you can then invest in this. But there's certain things that are not permitted, okay, that's a prohibited transaction, right? I'll get to you in one second. That's a prohibited transaction within your retirement account, which then makes you be liable for the taxes and all that. Because the main purpose of doing it within a retirement account is to not have to pay any taxes. You can grow it all tax-free and take it out tax-free after 59.5. If you do a loan, that's a prohibited transaction. But everybody thinks that's it's a prohibited transaction only if you guarantee the loan. So if you sign and guarantee the loan, that's a prohibited transaction. If you do not sign the loan, it's not a prohibited transaction, okay? So why am I talking about that? Because we're gonna talk about how you can do these deals on your own and keep the entire 1,352. You don't have to partner with me on these. We teach you how to do it yourself. I just want you to know that if you're doing it within a retirement account, this is the way you can go around it and do it, because you're not gonna personal guarantee anything. I'm getting the loan, I'm personal guaranteeing it, you have no personal guarantee. So that's why you can get these 40-something to 50% returns annually, that I guarantee you're not getting that right now in any retirement account that you have. So we can do that because of the leverage aspect. Question?
So the question is, because you said the 3-year exit strategy, so is it a goal for you to pay out the investor that's investing with you, or is it a goal to sell the house after 3 years?
That's a real good question, because since I do so many of whatever we're doing, like I'll do 100, right? I will do whatever the investor wants, because I don't care. I mean, if you wanna sell and I don't, or I wanna sell, I don't have to sell that one, I can sell one of the other 99, right? So our goal in this example, and we don't have to sell, we don't want to at the end, but if we're both in agreement, and it don't have to be 3 years. In 2 years, you can say, hey, we can sell this. The rates just dropped to 4.8. We can sell this right now, make 100,000. Let's do it. Then we can sell the property, and your profit goes. Your 50 plus your 50 goes straight into your retirement account, along with all the other money that's been going in there, and it's 100% tax free, right? And then you can take it out whatever. And if it's not in a retirement account, it's the same thing. We sell it, you get your money. You could do a 1031 exchange or whatever you want to do. So that you can avoid that at that time. But yeah, we can sell it, or you can say, I wanna keep it, and then the value went up, and then we do a cash out refi, if it makes sense, pull out the money, pay no taxes on it, lower the rate, and keep going, to make more money. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
On the JV side of it, is it an LLC or a note and deed, or what, how?
You could use any structure you want. We'll draw up the paperwork in our office and send it to you, and it's a joint venture. So ours will always be an LLC on our 50%, but you can put in your name, you can put it in your LLC, you can put it in your retirement account, whatever you want to put it in. We don't tell you how to put it in.
And then is that attached to the note and deed of the closing, or does it go into both of our names?
Yeah, so we can do it however you want. If we're gonna do multiple, Sometimes we will open a separate, LLC, cause I have some clients that we do several of them, we open a separate LLC. I still get the loan, do everything like this, and then we deed the property into the LLC that we both own 50%. That's the cleanest way to do it. I could do it that way on every single one. I just don't wanna have to open an LLC every single time, but you're welcome to do it. And then if we do more than one, I actually recommend to do it. Like, a lot of our clients, one already did like 10, right? So you definitely wanna have an LLC, even if it's more than two, it just makes sense, so that we could just keep track of it, do everything easier. that way.
Separate LLCs for each one or one LLC?
I use one for mine, but, if the client wants to do multiple deals with us, we'll open an LLC that we both own 50% and put all of them in that one. Now, if it becomes to where we have a bunch of them, then we could open another one. But like I said, for me, I'm very flexible, I don't really care. We can open one for everyone, we can put 5 under one at a time. I buy so many that I'm not gonna be opening an LLC. I open 2 LLCs every year, by the way. And then I dump all the properties I'm buying, myself personally, in those. That way I don't go over 10 million, cause then the CPA gets real mad. Cause if you go over 10 million, then you have to do audits on besides your taxes like crazy. So don't go over 10 million.
What about
on
the
one
IRS regulations of having no more than 10? You meant because they consider you a mortgage company, I guess.
I've never had any issues with that.
No?
No. But if they wanna consider me a mortgage company, I'll be happy, yeah. But we are a mortgage company, which we'll talk about in a minute.
I just have one more follow-up. So, out of these type of homes for the housing vouchers, is there a year recommendation that you're seeing? You, obviously, because they're so strict on the, inspections, is there a certain, like, year range you would recommend?
Okay, so good question. So as far as inspections, most of the homes, as soon as we buy them, because we're buying them at a discount, most of the time, we're gonna do a rehab, okay? When we do our rehab, we're gonna fix everything anyways, so our houses are always gonna pass, because we just fix everything completely. If we think the AC is about to break, we're gonna put a new AC. If the roof is old, we're gonna put a new roof. We always do all flooring, painting, everything. Because we know what we're doing, we're gonna do all the plugs, everything is gonna be new. That way we don't have any issues, because since this tenant's gonna be there for a long time, if you don't fix everything from the beginning and do it right, they do annual inspections, and these guys are gonna be there like 8 years, let's say. So every year, if you didn't do it right the first time, it's gonna be a big headache for you, because every year, they're gonna pick one thing or two, and the next year, they're gonna pick another thing, until you're constantly gonna be trying to fix stuff. So why not do it all from the beginning? A lot of these other ones, if you do, like these, we just bought straight, because they're already rent ready, so there was no rehab required. There's gonna be little like painting and carpet, whatever, right, but it's pretty much a done deal. On some deals, you can get even better prices, because we'll buy them with hard money or cash, we'll do the rehab, and then we'll do a cash out. And when you do it that way, we can do a lot more fixing on the house, and it's not more money, because it's the same thing. Sometimes it's a little less, that you have to put in if you do it that way. But most of them are all gonna be ready, we're not gonna have no issues.
Mark, under the section 8 housing, is the tenant responsible for the property taxes, or is it like?
It's a rental, we're responsible.
You're responsible.
Yeah, that's why in the example, I'm taking everything out, yeah, so we're paying for everything. And like I said, I even put servicing company, if you're gonna keep it yourself, then you don't have to worry about that, because you can not have to pay that. And like I said, with some investors, like I did one today, if they want to, not put the 100 in there, just keep it, and then if there's a issue, then we just pay it, I'm open to that, I don't really care. Yes, sir. Yes.
Do you get a tax break? Or any like tax incentives for basically being able to
Yeah, I mean, you're
provide?
getting depreciation, so you're not gonna have to pay taxes anyways. A lot of time it's gonna offset. I can't say 100%, I'm not a tax person.
Yeah, but
But most of the time, you're gonna have enough depreciation in your home every year to offset what you're making on the home. And if you could do it in your retirement accounts, and if you don't, I'll show you how to do it. That's a huge advantage to do these, because you literally will pay no tax on anything. And then there's a whole other thing, and I can show you how to do it, how to be able to get your money out, there's all kinds of stuff to do. That's the best way to do it, if you could get it into one of your retirement accounts. Yes, ma'am.
So when you do the property loan or whatever loan to buy the property, do you then put the property in a land trust?
No, we don't even have to
Refinance?
type of land trust or anything like that.
Refinance, no.
Yeah, we just refi right out under my same LLC. My the reason I do a lot of these for a lot of clients is because they don't wanna have to be signing all these loans, they don't wanna have to have new credit, they don't wanna have the reserves required to get these houses. So our company already has all that, so we're able to get, 6.9% interest right now. Even somebody buying a house as a personal primary resident is not getting those rates. We're getting those rates because we buy so many houses, and they do a lot of exceptions for us, you know? So we get better rates, we get better
So
service.
how do you circumvent the fact that if you've got two LLCs together, that there's not gonna be a credit run on?
There's never a credit run because I purchased the home first before you even come into the picture. Like this house, I bought it, closed on it, did everything, funded it, and then I get the investor involved. Even if I get the investor involved ahead of time, because sometimes we have a waiting list, and they already know which one it is, I still buy it and close first. And then, after the rehab and everything, then we deed it to the.
And they're not charging, investor rates?
Oh, on the hard money they do.
Yeah.
But in this example, this was a
Are
straight
you a hard
30-year
money
loan.
lender too?
Yes, but this is a straight loan.
Where did you come up with, where's the $3,000 cash flow coming from? Maybe on this.
Did you see on the other slide, oh, right here, where they said they paid $3,333, so I just said, let's say it's $3,000.
Oh, okay.
It could be more, it could be a little less sometimes.
Bless you.
I'm gonna do, the next slide, and then we're gonna,
Hold up.
He does my side.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up, one of our partners in the Owner Finance Company, Valerie, and she's gonna talk a little bit about the Owner Finance Company.